Do you ever wonder why some people seem to get rich while most struggle just to get by? The truth is, it all starts in the mind. Before millionaires earn their first dollar, they think differently. Their mindset separates them from the crowd. Most people see problems and stop. Millionaires see the same problems as opportunities. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't blame others or luck. Instead, they take control and start moving. This way of thinking is the foundation of success. Without it, no amount of hard work or talent will take you far. Here's the key. You don't need to be born rich or have special talents. What you need is the mindset to keep going, to learn, and to take responsibility for your life. And if you're serious about your success, subscribe now. Because here, we share the kind of motivation and real talk that will keep you pushing forward every single day. Remember, the journey to success begins when you decide to think like a winner. Talent's overrated. Sure, talent helps, but it's not what makes millionaires. What truly separates the successful from the stuck is persistence. The ability to keep moving forward no matter how many times you get knocked down. Most people stop when things get hard. They say, maybe this isn't for me, or it's just not working. But millionaires, they keep going. Not because they never fail, but because they never quit. Let me ask you something. How many people do you know who had big dreams, but gave up halfway? Maybe they started a business or a YouTube channel or went after a goal, but the moment things got slow, they disappeared. Now compare that to people who stuck with it, even when nobody was watching, even when there was no money, no praise, no results. Over time they made it. Why? Because they understood one powerful truth. Consistency creates momentum. Let's take an example you probably know. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. She was rejected by 12 different publishers. She was broke, a single mom, no connections. But she kept submitting that manuscript again and again. Imagine if she had stopped at the 11th rejection. You see, the road to success is filled with failure, rejection, and silence. That's not a sign to stop. That's the test. That's where most people quit, and where successful people double down. And here's something even more encouraging. You don't need to move fast. You just need to keep moving. Step by step, day by day. Because if you never stop, you can't lose. The only way to truly fail is to give up. So whatever goal you're chasing, stay in the game. You're not too late. You're not too old. You're not underqualified. You're just one of the few who hasn't given up yet, and that already puts you ahead of 90% of people. Keep going. The common misconception is that millionaires are merely lucky risk-takers. They imagine them throwing money at crazy ideas, hoping something works. But that's not how real success works. Millionaires take risks, but they take smart ones. There's a big difference between being reckless and being bold. Let's break it down. Reckless is quitting your job without a plan. Reckless is gambling everything on a random crypto coin you don't understand. Smart risk? That's building a side hustle while working your 9 to 5. That's learning the market before you invest. That's betting on yourself with preparation. Millionaires know the secret. Growth only happens outside your comfort zone. But they don't just jump. They prepare, study, and then make their move. Look at Elon Musk. People call him a risk taker. And yeah, he made some bold moves. But behind every move was research, planning, and a vision. When he invested in Tesla and SpaceX, most people thought he was crazy. But he wasn't guessing. He was calculating. Here's a truth bomb. If you're waiting for a 100% safe path to success, you'll be waiting your whole life. There's no perfect moment, no perfect plan. At some point you have to leap, but leap with your eyes open. Ask yourself, what's the worst-case scenario? Can I handle it? What steps can I take to reduce that risk? Millionaires don't avoid fear. They manage it. And here's the kicker. Taking no risk is actually the biggest risk of all, because while you sit still, the world moves on. Opportunities pass. Time runs out. So here's the move. Stop playing defense. Start playing to win. Bet on yourself. Not blindly, but boldly, with strategy, with courage. Success isn't about being fearless. It's about being scared and doing it anyway. Millionaires do this one thing that most people don't. They never stop learning. Sounds simple, right? But it's one of the biggest differences between people who grow and people who stay stuck. See, most people finish school and stop learning. They think they're done. But millionaires? For them, education is a lifetime game. They read books. They listen to podcasts. They watch videos that teach, not just entertain. They surround themselves with people who know more than them. Why? Because knowledge compounds, just like money. Every time you learn something new, you're upgrading your mind. And over time, those small upgrades add up to big breakthroughs. Let's take Warren Buffett as an example. One of the richest men in the world. Guess what he does with most of his day? He reads, not just for fun, for growth. He once said he reads 500 pages a day, because that's how knowledge builds, like compound interest. Now, I'm not saying you need to read 500 pages, but 10 pages, 15 minutes a day, that's doable. And over time, that daily habit becomes a superpower. Here's the thing. The world is moving fast. Technology, business, life, everything is changing. If you're not learning, you're falling behind. So ask yourself, what skill do I need to level up? What mindset do I need to strengthen? What books, mentors, or resources can I learn from today? And it's not just about reading. It's about applying what you learn. Information without action is just noise. Millionaires don't just know more. They do more with what they know, and that's your edge. You don't need a fancy degree. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to be the one who never stops learning, growing, and showing up, because the more you learn, the more you earn in every area of life. Most people ignore this truth. Success doesn't come from what you do once. It comes from what you do consistently. Millionaires don't rely on motivation. They don't wait to feel like it. They build habits, automatic routines that keep them moving forward even on tough days. Let that sink in. You don't need more inspiration, you need structure. Let's break this down. Think about brushing your teeth. You do it daily, right? Not because you're super motivated, but because it's a habit. It's automatic. Now imagine if waking up early, planning your day, reading, working out, saving money, or taking action on your goals became just as normal. That's how successful people operate. They don't rise to the level of their goals. They fall to the level of their systems, and habits are your system. Look at someone like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He doesn't just show up to the gym when he feels like it. He trains like it's his job, because it is. He's built the discipline so deep that skipping isn't even an option. Here's the real key. Start small. Want to wake up early? Start by getting up just 15 minutes earlier. Want to read more? Start with 5 pages a day. Want to build a side hustle? Set aside 30 focused minutes daily. Small wins lead to big results. Over time, those tiny actions become automatic, and your life starts to shift. And don't worry if you slip up. Everyone does. What matters is getting back on track the next day. Progress isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. So ask yourself right now, what's one habit I can build that will move me closer to my goal? What can I do today, even for 5 minutes, that my future self will thank me for? Because here's the deal, motivation gets you started, but habits keep you going. And when you combine the two, that's unstoppable. Your network equals your net worth. It sounds like a cliche, but it's 100% real. Millionaires don't try to do everything alone. They build relationships. They connect with people who inspire them, challenge them, and open doors they couldn't open by themselves. But here's the secret. It's not about using people. It's about adding value first. Think about this. When most people try to network, they ask for favors, attention, or handouts. But that's the wrong move. Millionaires approach people by asking, "How can I help?" And that's what builds real connections, offering value without expecting anything in return. Let's talk about Steve Jobs. He wasn't just a visionary. He was also surrounded by brilliant people like Steve Wozniak, Jony Ive, and others. Jobs had the ideas, but it was the team that built Apple, same with every major success story. Behind it is a circle of people who believed, supported, challenged, and contributed. Here's why this matters for you. No matter what you're building, a business, a dream, a better life, you need people around you who get it. People who push you, not pull you down. People who add energy, not drain it. But to find those people, you've got to be that kind of person first. So instead of chasing connections for clout, focus on being reliable, being honest, helping others win, sharing knowledge, showing up. Consistently do this, and you'll naturally attract the right tribe. And here's the game changer. One good connection can change everything. One conversation, one opportunity, one introduction. That's all it takes, but it won't happen if you stay isolated. So put yourself out there. Go to events, join communities, comment on content, send that message, build relationships the right way, because no one makes it alone. And the sooner you start surrounding yourself with the right people, the faster your life will level up. In conclusion, you don't get what you want, you get what you believe. Every millionaire, every world changer, every underdog who rose to greatness had one thing in common. They believed they could, before the world gave them permission. Reader, that again. Success starts in your mind. Before the money, before the opportunity, before the win. If you don't believe it's possible, you won't chase it. If you don't think you're worthy, you'll sabotage it. If you think small, you'll live small, no matter how big your dreams are. Let's be real. Most people talk themselves out of greatness. They say, "I'm not ready. I'm not smart enough. I'm not like them." But millionaires, they flip that. They say, "Why not me?" They say, "I'll figure it out." They say, "This will work," or "I'll learn and try again." And that's the difference. Mindset isn't just positive thinking. It's how you see yourself and your future. It's choosing growth over fear, action over excuses, vision over comfort. Look at someone like Oprah Winfrey. She came from poverty, faced rejection, and was told she didn't have the look for TV. But she saw more for herself, and she refused to accept the limits others tried to give her. You have that same power. You can rewire your thoughts. You can rewrite the story you've been told. Because the truth is, your current situation is not your final destination, not even close. But it all begins when you stop saying, "I can't," and start asking, "How can I?" So if you've been doubting yourself, if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Believe bigger. Start acting like the person your goals require, not tomorrow, not when life gets easier. Today, because success doesn't come to the lucky, it comes to the ready. And you're ready now.